All right, Scott, we are live.
My God, we are.
It's a glorious thing. It's been a while. Welcome back.
It's been a while. Did you not like my joke?
No, I wasn't sure if you were going to keep singing.
Nope, that was it.
Not bad. Alright, I gave Brett the go-ahead. Told him he can start whenever he wants. And the players are...
So where are we now in this tournament? This is our fall tournament that we're doing right now. And why don't you debrief us on where we're at?
Yes, so we're in the fall tournament. It was 12 entrants. We did a group stage. We let the top 8 progress. And to my knowledge, this is going to be the first quarterfinals match so far of the bracket phase. Okay.
How exciting.
They are starting games, so be prepared to spectate. And I'm going to start by spectating Viola because I've never watched her play before, and it could be interesting. I probably will get reamed for saying Viola or Viola. No matter what I say, I think someone's going to be ready to argue.
Well, let's go with. Well, no, let's keep it interesting. You do whatever you're gonna do. You do one, and I'll do the other.
Rexa versus Gul'dan. Your soul shall be mine. Let's
All right.
begin.
I'm in game. Viola's playing Hunter, and Croff is playing what looks like it might be a Demon Lock.
Yeah, that's what it appears from the initial hand, anyway.
The Golden Void Caller. That actually, I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think I have one that is kind of a cool looking animation.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely twice as badass as its original form.
You know, I just this week crafted I crafted golden death spites. I was, it's tough when you get to the point where you're like, you want a golden card from one of the adventures, because you're never going to unpack it. You've got to craft it, but you feel pretty cool after you do it.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even consider that.
Ooh, and the sludge belcher, that's another one.
Yeah.
So what we're learning now is Croff is swimming in dust.
And he's got a couple joust mechanics in there, but it might just be for the early game.
I'll show them all.
Did you see the Gadgets and Jouster come down here?
And he wins! Not too difficult against most
How
hunters.
exciting.
Yeah. I mean, it is a huge upgrade for that Jouster, though, because now it's not a one-for-one trade.
A one for nothing. I mean, if that was a 1-2, it would just get eaten by the mad scientist.
Oh, true. Yep. Speaking of mad
But
scientist...
that's okay. He would have had the free mana anyway, so it's just a question of how important is it to have that one additional health on the Twilight Drake next turn.
Alright. And the secret is a snake trap.
You know, I'm not sure why the Hunter would choose to trade there. You know, that's something where, as the Hunter, typically, I mean, it does look like more of a control Hunter deck, but typically the Hunter wants to go face and make the other guy make the trades for you.
I can only imagine I believe she would have looked at the trap before making that decision to pop the spiders. So maybe she just really wants to protect that trap at the moment.
Possible.
Which, given what we see now, is not going to be very easy. Then again, there's not much reason for this Void Color to trade against the 1/1s. All right, adding in a bear trap and skipping the face damage.
I guess that's something you've got to consider when you are playing a handlock, or what appears to be a handlock.
Right.
Although Croft's deck is a bit more demon focused than giant focused, it appears.
Well, from the hunter's perspective, this void color is really the only indication that it might be a demon focused warlock. Because otherwise, you've only seen the jouster and then a bunch of life tapping.
Yeah, the joust would make you kind of go, that's interesting.
Yep.
And then, from that, you've just seen tapping and a void collar, which is pretty standard handlock.
The jouster to me just seems like an alternative to putting in a zombie chow.
Yeah, I agree. A less consistent zombie chow.
I mean, it's one that you don't mind drawing late game when your opponent only has a couple hit points left.
That's true.
Alright, it looks like we're going to see a whole lot dumped into this Sludge Belcher.
Don't have much of a choice.
Yeah.
The light protects me.
And the void color survives another day. Let's see what demons could come out. The Infernal, obviously.
The Floating Watcher
And, yeah, the Watcher.
Infernal are the two that I can pull.
Yep. So it's... We'll see if Croff chooses to trade it or just sit on the void color one more turn. He still doesn't know what this trap is, other than it's not another snake trap. Also,
Now, the interesting
he knows it's
thing
not
is,
freezing as well, I suppose.
if the Void Caller pulls the Floating Watcher, you can drop the Dread Infernal and buff it, because the Dread Infernal deals 1 damage to you, and it would cause the Floating Watcher to gain 2/2.
Quite true. Well,
It's a little risky of a play for not that much of a
it
benefit.
would really be 2-1 on the Watcher, effectively, but it is a good point.
Yeah. Well, right, 2/1, yes.
Yeah, I think in that case, if you wanted to play the Drake, you kind of do that first.
Yes. That is, the order of operations for handlock is precise. One of the general rules of Hearthstone is you always draw first, because you never know if what you draw is going to be the solution you're looking for. But yeah, after that, then you've got to think, mountain giants. I've screwed myself so many times by either by playing something before a mountain giant, or like playing a coin into a mountain giant. That's an early mistake that you can sometimes make.
I think we've all done that at least like 2 or 3 times.
That's a nice shame concede right there. When you do that. It's a pretty decent Hellfire opportunity,
Oh, yes.
especially after activating the bear trap.
Good call.
So many possibilities.
I like the silence here. Unless you see like a high main, there's really no other better target at this point. We could all be fooled though that Gazrilla play.
I mean, who knows? With these decks, you don't know what you're gonna run up against.
Yeah, I like it, especially at this point in the tournament. I have no idea what anybody played throughout the group stage. And on top of that, the players had the opportunity to modify their decks between the group stage and right now in the brackets. So, yeah, everything is pretty much unknown now, and it's awesome.
This is actually pretty big. What just happened there too is because they didn't because Croff didn't check for the bear trap first. He ended up killing off his Infernal, where he might not have needed to.
Yep. Despite the hand advantage, he has really not had board control at any point in this game.
This is a perfect Molten Giant anti-Keelbot turn.
Nice.
Well, control decks just want to answer your threats, and then they'll start putting theirs online later.
I think we're going to see it here, because 2 Unleash the Hounds, Flare, and Hero Power. Not a lot to work with. I mean, there is another secret on deck, presumably. What is it? 17 cards left in deck. We've seen 3 traps? 2? Alright.
We have seen 2 traps.
Alright, that does lend itself to a combo now. Choosing not to go for face damage and instead steal back a little control.
Oof.
I've got a bit of a graphical glitch. The rope is stuck on my screen.
I had one too. It looks like he just pulled Mal'Ganis.
That I do see.
Oh, you've got the rope, I see.
Possibility.
Oh yeah, you can see it on the stream.
I had a glitch in her hand where she pulled a Warlock 0 mana kill command. So I was like, oh boy, here it comes.
Yeah, I can't think of really a single card that the hunter can play that will pull this back.
There's not much. It's pretty out of reach, especially once Mal'Ganis comes down.
What is the new spell where if you have no cards you draw another one?
Quick shot.
That's it, yeah. I mean, that would help in this situation, but with only 2 of them, you're not going to draw enough to win at this point.
Yeah, and again, just another point here, and this is not to, not to criticize anything, but clearing the board in that spot right there really did you nothing. You want to be thinking of pushing every piece of damage that you can. You're not going to top deck something that's going to do 14 damage, so you've got to just keep pushing into the face and hoping that you can get them close enough. That's unfortunately sadly late on that Savannah Main.
Yep. No, the point you made it definitely resonates with my own playstyle. Especially in a situation where you're a hunter, you're past like turn 6 and 7. If you're not doing everything you can to get lethal damage, you would need to have a very specialized control deck to really survive the late game.
Right.
Not to say this isn't one, we just haven't seen the cards that would really make it. I doubt it's Feign Death because we haven't seen too many Death Rattle cards. So, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Pulling out Mal'Ganis here is very nice icing. I don't know why he's choosing not to. I think he's giving the hunter with a little too much credit.
Very safe play by Croff.
Too safe, Croff. Come on. We came for a spectacle.
I do want to say that one of the hardest things in this game to learn is when to go face versus when to control the board. That's something that everyone struggles with, pro players included. It's not an easy decision. If you can master that, you can master the game.
Yeah, I feel like that honestly is the hardest concept of Hearthstone to master. I mean, you can memorize every card in the game, you can learn every popular net deck, but spotting lethal and really making the decision of, I don't quite have lethal, but I'm going to push for it and hopefully win next turn. Yeah, as you said, that is mastery.
Yeah, some of the things I've seen, when I watch some streamers, when they decide, they're going to either push face or they're going to put more threats on the board than I might, I go, wow, that's surprising, because again, I wouldn't do that. But then you see how it leads them to win a game, and maybe they had the game won anyway, but they win the game a turn or 2 or 3 sooner than you would have if you played safer. I think that's really interesting to watch, and really helpful in your own game.
Well, I've never seen Medivh in-game, so the animation was pretty sweet. I've also never seen someone with 2 Tuskar Totemics in the opening hand, so we'll see how this one plays out.
That could be real good.
So far, these mage cards do look very familiar, unlike most of what the shaman's got.
Yeah, it looks like Tempo Mage we can see Rag, so it looks like it's topping out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think so.
Versus Totem Shaman.
It wouldn't surprise me to also see Antonitis on top of the Ragnaros.
Right.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Well, a pretty strong start from the mage. Let's see if some Totemics...
Yes.
Actually, we'll probably see Lightning Storm here.
Yeah, you feel like you almost have to, but if you roll a 1 and a 1 on those, you're
Right.
in trouble.
It does. It would also really stifle turn 4 play.
Now, again, I'm going to criticize Croff here. You draw first.
That's a good point.
You don't know what you're going to draw into. Rule for everyone who's listening: draw first whenever possible. It's not an absolute. There are always exceptions, but the rule is that.
All right, Scott, what do you think? Lightning Storm this time?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
You're just dead, which actually...
Ah!
Oh my God. The RNG of Lightning Storm. That's why it's a bad card. 5 mana, never kill the creature you want to kill.
And it did even roll a 3, just where it didn't need to.
Yep.
That's really unfortunate.
Yep.
Perhaps.
I expect, looking at the overloaded mana for next turn, it's probably going to be the second Tuskar coming out.
Yeah. And then you just cry into your Cheerios because there's nothing you could have done.
That's... a Stoneclaw Totem will absorb 5 damage, I think.
It will. Well, knowing that we know that the mage has Fireball in hand, so there's nothing that can be done.
Right. Alright. This is a quick game 2 to the mage. Turn 5 victory. Man.
Yeah, that's really...
With the spell power, just
Shaman,
because.
Tempo Storm released their tier list, and tier 4 is every Shaman archetype. There are no other decks in tier 4, and there are no Shaman decks that are not in tier 4.
Wow.
The Shaman class is crap in Hearthstone right now, and you just saw why. The overload is too much of a hindrance. There's not enough plus for it. The RNG on their board clear is backbreaking when it goes wrong.
Yeah, I have no counterpoint. Everything you just said sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah, it really appears like Hearthstone's set to release another set of cards, or set to announce their next adventure. And I think a lot of people are hoping for 2 things. 1, something to make Shaman playable, and 2, something to kill Mysterious Challenger, which, if any of you have played against Secret Paladin, you know how awful that card is.
More flares. Alright, so we're learning Croft's third deck is Paladin. It seems pretty standard so far. Oh, and then comes Competitive Spirit.
And it looks like the Shaman deck is going to take another shot at it.
I love watching Murloc Knight. I hope that becomes a factor in this game.
Yeah, Murloc Knight, Paladin really has all the best single cards. Like, Shielded Minibot is probably the best 2-drop. Murloc Knight is pretty, well, it's the best 6-drop, I'll put it that way. 4 plus your hero power is the best 6-mana play, except for Mysterious Challenger, which is the other best 6-mana play you can make. They have the best 8-drop with Tyrian Fordring. The Paladin class is in a really good spot right now in terms of having the best on-curve minions.
I mean, I would say even Dragon Consort is
Golden Dr. Boom.
a super strong card.
Which one?
The Dragon Consort.
Yeah, it is. It's just doesn't seem to be strong enough, or dragons themselves are just not strong enough. Muster for Battle, probably the best 3 card in the game.
Oh, another tough situation for the Shaman early game here. On the bright side, she's at full health, and Croff is not.
What to do?
I feel like you'd almost have to coin out a totem here just to get a little more board presence. You know, the spider is not going to do enough for you. I wonder if he just drops the Murloc Knight just for fun. Competitive Spirit Knife Juggler is decent too.
Oh, wow.
And just go face. Or, yeah, that's fine too.
I mean, there's a couple options here for the Shaman. The strongest of which involves coining the Earth Shock and then putting down Defender on the 2 spiders.
You could do that. You could also just run your spider into the mini-bot and Lightning Storm.
Ouch.
I guess the fear is, again, if you don't know what the secret is, you know, it could be Noble Sacrifice. You lose your guy. Oh, he's got Dr. 7 and Dr. 8 in his hands. So his 6-mana play with Murloc Knight hero power, his 7-mana play with Dr. Boom, his 8-mana play with Tyrian Fordring is gonna be real hard to counter.
Let me think.
Yeah, we've got a comment in chat that was talking about what we were just talking about now. I'm going to quote, "Paladin is king right now because Blizzard design philosophy appears to be that combos are bad and minion trading is good. Paladin has all the best minions to curve out." I completely agree. Yeah, they have all the best single minions. So, you know, aside from like Savannah Highmane, you know, or Fire Elemental, but all in all, you know, Paladin has the best individual minions, which is what Blizzard wants the game to be about.
I think it's Lightning Storm time.
I mean, yeah, you have to. What do you think? Do they kill the mini-bot or no?
I'm gonna say yes this time. Ah.
You would be wrong, sir.
And I guess she doesn't care enough to coin out the Earthshock for that.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point, but I feel like, well, I guess we're looking at his hand going, oh my god, what the hell could you possibly do? She doesn't know that, but we do.
That overload was really crippling at this moment.
Yeah. But, I mean, again, we see both hands. It's hopeless.
I mean, it's in a normal situation with more HP. I think coining out the Drake is the right play, but that means the Paladin only has to scrape up 2 damage to win on the next turn.
Right. But it's tough. Yeah. And again, next turn you leave that Murloc Knight on there, you go, man, he always has to do his hero power and you're screwed. Mm-hmm. The Hex is not a wrong decision on that, except for knowing what's in Croft's hand.
Job's done. There is little time.
Another play that could have been made there is to Rockbiter yourself and kill something first before hexing.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and then you could have also coined, the Earth Shock and the Rockbiter. You could have used both of those. You had the 2 mana.
Mm-hmm. I mean, earlier we were not criticizing, but kind of calling out Brett for playing a little too defensive. But I think on the flip side, this Shaman needs to be super defensive here to even, see turn 8, which is not going to happen from what I can tell.
No, this is gonna be GG right here.
Who knows? Maybe Croff will have a sudden disconnect.
That would be all we could hope for, but it does not happen.
Yeah, it is a 3-0 sweep.
And the Golden Croff goes on to his next match. Well, I mean, with that Paladin deck, there's not much you can do if they draw right. It's just he drew the Shield Bot, he drew Muster for Battle, he had Murloc Knight, he Dr. Boom, Tyrion Fordring. How do you beat that?
Yeah, I mean, by comparison, the first game was competitive, but games 2 and 3 were just Croft just getting really, really, really strong openings.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened. I mean, the opening and the opening of both of those was tough to come back from. The opening on that Tempo Mage was tough to come back from, the Shaman doesn't really give you the tools to do that, unfortunately, especially when it rolls wrong. The Lightning Storm rolled wrong on those 2. I wonder if those 2 Mana Worms had gotten killed, if that could have become a game. It might have been. I don't remember where we were at, but I know that the Mage was starting to run a little low on cards, and the Shaman had a few, so that might have been something that if those had rolled 3s instead of 2s, we might have had a game on our hand.
At the very least, we would have seen Ragnaros.
At the very least, we would have made our way to Ragnaros time.
Well, I don't think anyone else was planning to play tonight. So is our stream over?
I'm not sure. I think that might be it for now. That's our little warm up, getting into the serious part of the ladder here.
Yeah, that's...
good games to both folks here. Well played. Good job getting to the ladder for ViolaLynn. It's like you're stuttering when you say violin. ViolaLynn. And congrats to Croff for advancing to the next round.
Absolutely. All right, everybody.
Everyone tune in on Friday. Blizzard will be announcing new Hearthstone content at 6:30 Eastern. So tune in to Twitch and see all the fun stuff that's going to be coming your way.
All right. Until next time, have a good night, everybody.
Good night.